So before going into research methodology subject, because this is the most important subject of our course actually, based on the principles what you learn in research, you will do a project accordingly. So research is very, what do you say, very important and very useful subject which can be applied in all the fields and all the disciplines. So before going into the syllabus, I want to give you an overview about what is research and what is the need for research. So after giving the overview, we can go into the syllabus from the next class. So I have prepared my PPT in such a way that you can understand what is the research and concept of research, its objectives, scope, characteristics, and ethics of research. So we will see one by one. So research, as you all know, it is a combination of two words. You can split it. RE plus search. Re is revisiting. Search is searching for new knowledge. So research is not only doing something new. You are not finding anything new. You are not only finding anything new, but if you are adding new knowledge to the existing knowledge, that is also called research. Okay, I hope you understand that. Something if you find if someone finds a vaccine for COVID, that is a research. So, because he is finding something new. If someone, what do you say? If someone finds a new information from existing information, that is also a research. So research is, what do you say? Either you find something new or you add new knowledge to existing knowledge. It is a way of thinking. It examines critically the various aspects of professional work. Okay, it examines critically the various aspects of any professional work. Whatever professional work in the sense is research writing is a professional work. Whatever you academic writing and research writing is professional work. Whatever they have given, it examines critically. It reviews it so that you get an understanding of what is done before. So from that, you can start your own research. It's a structural inquiry that follows scientific methodology to solve problem and to create new knowledge that is generally applicable. In the previous class, I told what is scientific procedure. Scientific procedure is a steps rules to follow. So research is also like that. You follow certain rules. You will not directly write the findings and result. So there are certain procedures. It should follow a systematic procedure. It's a structural inquiry. It should have a proper formal structure from the top to bottom. It comprises of two words, as I said earlier, re and search. Re means again you are revisiting the old knowledge again to formulate new knowledge. Search means to find out where they have done their where they have done that. So from the old knowledge where I can start my new research. So research, it is split into two words. So, according to Advanced Learners Dictionary, the definition of research is careful investigation, especially to search for new facts in any branch of knowledge. You see, careful investigation means they are reviewing the old work. They are reviewing the old work to see whether they can find new work based on the old work. So that is a careful. You have to take it so slow, and it requires patience and a careful and a systematic investigation for adding new knowledge to the existing body of knowledge, or to find something whole new set. So this is about the concept of research. So there are different definitions given by different experts regarding the research. So I took this particular one. So according to Cook, research is nothing but a honest, exhaustive, intelligent searching for facts and their meanings with reference to a problem. So you have a problem. For example, I'll give you an example problem. So why people are not coming to the library? In the 20th century, why people are not coming to the library? So that is a research problem. So you need to find answers. You need to find answer for that particular problem. So not just simply answering in a systematic way, intelligent searching. So you have to search for facts. What is the reason? So before how many people were coming to the library? Now how many people were coming to the library? What is the reason for the reduction in usage of library resources? So intelligent search of facts and their meanings. And after finding the facts, you have to write their meanings. Why? What is the reason? Because of computer, or because of technology, or because of non-availability of resources. You have to write the reason with reference to a problem. So this is how you do a proper research. So he sees the word research as an acronym. Acronym means there is abbreviation. Acronym we in layman's term we call it as short form. Like ATM. ATM stands for automated teller machine. So ATM is the acronym. Automated teller machine is the expansion or abbreviation. So research is an acronym, each letter of the word standing for particular aspect as given below. So you see, R is rational way of thinking. Rational is a logical way of thinking. E is expert and exhaustive treatment. When you are treating a problem, it should be expert wise and it should be exhaustive. Exhaustive in the sense it should be broad. You should analyze all the broad possibilities of the problem. S is for searching and solution, as we discussed in the previous slide. So research, search, and you have to search for the facts and you have to find solution for the problem. E is exactness. You have to report the problem and the solution to the problem exactly as it is, and you have to do a continuous analysis and relationship of facts. You have to establish a relationship between both the facts. In previous research, some might have said due to technology people have not coming to the library. In your research you are saying like that you have to establish the facts between previous research and your own research. C is critical observation, careful planning, constructive attitude, condensed generalization. You have to observe critically for all the possibilities. So what could be this reason, what could be that reason. So next is the objective of research. So everything has to have should have an objective, right? In the management, we saw it, the organization has an objective or a goal, so that they motivate or make the employees work to achieve that common goal. So similarly, research is also having certain objectives. The main purpose of research is to discover answers to question through the application of scientific procedure. As I said earlier, it is a systematic procedure. A systematic procedure in the sense after the first step only you can go to the second step. Like when you are installing a software, so first step you will download it. You will go to Google and search for it, then click the download link and then install it. Then only you will use the software. Directly you will not use it. So that is a systematic step. So research is also like that. The main aim of research is to find out the truth which is hidden and which has not been discovered yet. So as I told earlier, the aim of research is to find out something new. That is the truth. So people are not coming to the library. That is the question. Why they are not coming? So that is what you are going to discover in research. So these are the objectives: to gain familiarity with the phenomenon or to achieve new insight into it. So there is a concept already. So you are analyzing the concept to gain further familiarity about that particular concept, to adding new knowledge, or to achieve new insight, to portray accurately the characteristics of a particular individual, situation, or a group. So to portray accurately the character. For example, what is the service information? What do you say? What is the information seeking behavior pattern of PG students or information seeking behavior pattern of faculty members? So portraying the characteristics of a particular individual, so particular group or individual. So information seeking pattern of students will be different from the seeking pattern of faculty. So that is, so if you compare and analyze, you will get different results and different findings. So that is also an objective of research, to portray accurately the characteristics of a particular individual in a situation or a group. So to determine the frequency with which something occurs or with which is associated with something else. So this is called, what do you say, observational research, empirical research. There will be certain there will be two groups, experimental. One will be controlled group and one will be experimental group. So they will observe both the possibilities of that group. So one group, for you say one group sleeps, for example, let me take one group, they sleep for 6 hours a day, and another group, a group of 20 students, 10 students, they have separated into two groups. A group consists of 10 students, B group consists of 10 students. So A group sleeps only 4 hours a day, B group sleeps 8 hours a day. So in order to analyze the productivity based on the sleep, so they are differentiating into the group. So they will give the same work, but the sleep time only differs. So based on the result, they will come to a conclusion that students with having more sleep time able to work effectively, able to concentrate effectively. Students having less time are feeling some tired or something like that. So this is how they determine the frequency with which something or with associated with something else to test a hypothesis of a causal relationship between variables. So that we will come to know what is hypothesis and what is variables. So depend basically variable is there are different kinds of variable. Uh, Common or dependent, independent, extraneous or lurking variables, and everything is there. So age, for example, age is a variable, and gender is a variable. These are variables. For example, uh, younger younger people are seem to fit. Younger people are seem to fit means so age is a variable. So people who are less than 20 or can run faster than people who are more than 20. If that is your research question means, so age is a variable. So you are comparing the variable age with another variable running speed. So this is how you test the hypothesis between causal relationship between two variables. So while discussing the hypothesis section, I will explain what is hypothesis and what is the role of variables in detail. How will you test hypothesis? So this is just the concept of research. So next is motivation in research. So why do you want to do research actually? Unless if you are going for a job after MLISE, you will go because you will get a salary. But while doing a research, you will not get a salary most probably unless you have some fellowship or something. So what is the motivation for doing research? Desire to get a research degree along with its consequential benefits. That is a true factor. So if you want to acquaint yourself with a PhD degree, I want to do for a degree, and based on PhD degree I might be able to land a good job or something like that. So for that kind of motivation you can go. Desire to face the challenge in solving the unsolved problems, that is good. So there you find out library is not in par. Our Indian library in the Indian setup is not in par in equal with the Western setup. So there is a lack of technological advances in library field. So you want to do a kind of research on that. So to solve the unsolved problems, you have motivation. I want to find out the reason. So I will do a research. For that, I will go enroll for PhD or higher research. So this is good. To get desire to get intellectual joy of doing some creative work. Certain people are interested in learning new things. They have the curiosity to find out answers for new things. So for those kind of people, they get intellectual joy when they find out something new. When they learn something new, they will be they will be more happier. So for that kind of intellectual joy, some people will do research. Desire to be service of the society. So remember, whatever research we conduct, let it be PG project or the MPhil dissertation or PhD thesis, this research should be ultimately beneficial to the society or even to the library community. If you are conducting a research on the library usage of Central University of Punjab, the research findings will be useful to our library. So it is useful for some person of the society, some factors of the society, or even to the whole society as a whole. So there is some desire. So when you have the motivation to do a service to society by means of research, you can carry out. So desire to get respectability. So it is a factor that people who are doing research and people who are higher degree are considered to have more respect. So if you want to get respect also, people will go for research. So this is just a common list. There are many more motivations. So these are the motivation. So this is the reason majority of the people go for research. So these are the common characteristics of research: reliability, validity, accuracy, credibility, generalizability, empirical, systematic approach, and controlled. Your research should be reliable. Your research should be reliable. That means it should be trustworthy. When someone cross checks your fact, it should be true. You should not report that Punjab University Library has Central University of Punjab Library has more than 200 staff. Whatever it is true, you should report. That reliability should be there. Validity means if you have done a test or something like that, after a period of time, if they do the same test again, the consistency should not change much. That is validity. Accuracy, as I said earlier, you should be so accurate in your research. And credibility, is honesty. You should be held accountable for what you have done, because it's your research. You should be credible for what you have done. Generalizability. Depending upon the factors, you can generalize your research findings or to a specific set of. If you are doing a if you are doing a research on Central University of Punjab Library, you cannot generalize to the whole library in India. That findings alone is applicable only to the Central University of Punjab Library. So, like that, you have to consider whether your findings or your research can be generalizable to all or to a particular section. Empirical, as I told you, empirical study is made of both observation and experiment. Systematic approach, as I told you, it follows a step-by-step procedure and controlled. It should be controlled. There are variables that need to be controlled. I explained a bit earlier about controlled group and experimental group, like with an example of sleep. So that is how you control your research. You cannot, if you cannot, for example, if you are studying, if you are doing a research on what you say, doing a research on Central University of Punjab Library users, you cannot collect data from all the students. It is not possible. So there should be a control to limit the sample size and the population size. Only students from science stream or only students from arts stream. Like that, there is a control. You should have a proper control of what you are doing. So these is that is a common characteristics of research. This is the general characteristics of new and modern research. So it is an intellectual activity. Yeah, we know that in research. It usually long drawn, painfully slow, tedious. I told you it's very slow. You need patience to do research. Sometimes frustrating, boring, and rarely spectacular. You will do the same work again and again. You have to read a lot to analyze the literature. And knowledge growth and development. Yeah, eventually once you do a research, there will be new knowledge added to the research, right? So the growth and development and their applications to problems of substance is the only way to enhance human living standards. Unless they do research, they cannot find vaccine, right? So they are analyzing. The researchers are analyzing what symptoms are causing COVID, and for different kinds of patients, what kind of vaccine will be susceptible. For if a patient with diabetics, if you give high dosage of vaccine, it will give adverse effect. So this research is very essential. It will improve the knowledge growth and development. Modern research and development is multidisciplinary. Multidisciplinary is nothing but you are integrating more than one discipline in a field of study. In library science is multidiscipline because we integrate computer technology, we integrate management, we integrate communications, journalism, everything. So when you are doing a data analysis, when you are doing a data, what do you say, you are doing a data mining technique of library usage report. So that is an integration. That is a multidisciplinary. So when you are analyzing the management perspectives of library, how the library managers are performing effectively to get the best out of their employee. So you're integrating management with library science discipline. So nowadays research are carried out mostly multidisciplinary. Modern research is therefore increasingly a corporate activity. Obviously, it is conducted by research establishment, that is R&D labs, research projects getting sponsored by government, industries, and other agents. Even teachers like us can get research projects from ICSSRs, DSTs, and most of the professors will have signed lakhs on project. You might have seen in our university there are most research assistants. They are nothing but the a teacher might have taken a project from a funding agency like ICSSR or DST or CSIR, and they can appoint research assistant for particular project. So that post is called as research assistant. And modern research is highly professional. Yeah, research should be highly professional. It should be respectable. So whenever a research professional with expertise in a particular discipline are employed for the purpose of investigative research. So whenever you are doing a research, and you are sending it to a particular journal, they will review your paper. The experts in that particular field will review your paper, whether this paper with the research paper is good or not, whether they can add new information to the existing knowledge or not. So there are experts. It's highly professional. And university research. Expansion of knowledge horizon is one of the functions of university. Traditionally, universities are expected to work on the frontiers of knowledge and conduct fundamental research. But now universities are not. Previously, universities do only basic research. Now it is not like that. They are most of the universities are solving problem. Like in England, Oxford University is finding vaccine for COVID. Like they are developing, they are taking projects, they are finding solution to the societal problem. So the research of university has expanded and grown a long way from the way it started. So again, dissemination and publication activity. Dissemination is nothing but distribution. In library, we use this term very often. Dissemination of information. We are giving information. We are providing. Dissemination, in a common sense, is providing. And publication activity. Once you have completed your research, what will you do? You will publish it. You will publish it, right? In case of MLIS project, you will write a project report. That is publication. Writing report writing. So it is always reported through appropriate channels. It is a journal. If it is an article, you will publish in journals or in reports and other mediums. So and then citation analysis. So while studying bibliometrics, you will read this topic in more detail. So once you publish an article in a journal or something, citation is the only way to determine whether that particular research has got its impact or not. It has been seen or not. So, citation is a method of publication of research paper with consulted references which is already published. If I am doing a research on one topic, I might see the references, reviews of other previous researchers. So, when I am writing my own research, I have consulted the other works. So, I am referring them in my own research. That reference part is called citation. I am acknowledging them, or else it will become plagiarism. So, citation analysis is the important part in analyzing the influence of research. And funding, as I told earlier, there are many funding agencies. You can even apply if there is a good research project. If there is a good research project, you can send it to funding agency. You can send the proposal to funding agency. They will give money to conduct the whole research, because as an individual, you cannot conduct you cannot conduct an exhaustive research. You cannot analyze everyone. Only a certain particular, only to a limited area you can analyze as an individual. But when you get sponsorship, you can easily analyze. You can distribute the funds. So that is how they write proposal for funding agencies. They write proposals for funding agencies and get fundings, and they appoint research assistants and uh, purchase lab materials and whatever they require for that particular research. And the facilities is very important. When you're doing scientific research like experimentation, the lab facilities should be there, right? And if there is no facilities, it is not essential to, it is not easy to come to a conclusion. You will not get reliable results. So reliability comes into question if the research lacks facility. So it is very essential to have proper facility. For example, if you are analyzing institutional repository, unless you don't have institutional repository, how will you analyze? So facility is very important. The next is scope. So far we saw what is the concept of research, meaning of research, acronym of the word research, and general characteristics and modern characteristics of modern research. Now there is a scope of research. Scope is nothing but the limitation and the coverage. So as I said earlier, it is not easy to cover everything. It is not easy to cover. It is not easy to cover all the aspects of research. The scope is nothing but it explains the extent to which the research area will be explored in the study and specify the parameters within which the study will be operating. As I said earlier, you are analyzing Punjab University Library of Central University of Punjab. You are not analyzing all the libraries in Punjab. You are not analyzing all the libraries in Punjab. You are restricting the scope only to the library of Central University of Punjab. You cannot able to analyze all the libraries in Punjab state. Sorry. So your scope is the coverage of your research is only restricted to Central University of Punjab. So that is your scope. You have to mention clearly that due to financial constraint, time constraint, I cannot able to I cannot able to analyze all the libraries of in the Punjab state. So I am restricting my study only to Central University of Punjab Library. This is my scope of research. So like that you can mention, and based on this research, other researchers can undertake a similar study or an exhaustive study in other libraries in Punjab and compare the results. So like that you have to give your recommendation. Scope is it explains the parameters and explains the coverage of your research. For example, in the third paragraph, if your study is about online personal banking, but it will not be possible to you to cover all the banks, correct? And all individuals you use online banking system, because everyone, most of the people are using online banking system. It is not difficult, it is not easy to cover everyone, and it is not possible also. Therefore, you can specify that your study will cover only 100 people of a particular area and examine their usage. So that is called a sample. You select a 100 people, select 100 people from one area, like 100 people from Bathinda or something like that, from one area, and examine their use in online banking system. It is difficult to analyze everyone in India. So you are selecting, that is your scope. Your scope is only 100 people from a particular area. So I hope you understand what is meaning by scope. Scope in simple words is limitation and coverage. Ethics. This is an important topic in your first uh, in the first module. You are having this topic actually, ethics. Ethics. The meaning of ethics is truth in reporting. Uh, According to a dictionary meeting, it is truth. Truth in reporting, treatment of research participant in terms of ethics. So ethics, when you come normally, it is a code of conduct. It's a code of conduct. How will you explain ethics? For example, our university starts at 9 a.m. and ends at 5 p.m. minutes. So the first hour will commence at 9 a.m. Will start at 9 a.m. So the ethics is, by yourself you should be in the class around before 9 a.m. so that we can start on time. So following the rules and regulations of organization is an ethic. While playing sports also, in if you see the laws of every game, let it be football or cricket or whatever it may be, there will be code for ethics. The game should be played within the spirit, without abusing and without breaching the code of conduct. The game should be played well within the rules, even if the umpire gives a wrong decision. Even if the umpire gives a wrong decision, if you are not out, he gives you out, you should behave in such a way that you are not breaching the code of ethics. So that is called as ethics. Similarly, we are having ethics in research also. Let's see what are they. So ethical is, these are the concepts. A piece of behavioral research is ethical when the benefits and relevance of research balance cost and time and risk of harm to participants. See, when you are doing, what do you say, when biologists or when other medical professionals are doing some lab experiment, they conduct medicine company, they have to do research in order to test a vaccine. You cannot directly test on humans, you have to test on animals, and there is certain protocols to be followed while doing that. And if you are testing on humans, you have to ask their willingness. You have to inform them, we are planning to test a vaccine on your body, your immune system, are you willing to agree? So there are certain ethics and norms to be followed before conducting a proper research. So, if you after following all these guidelines only, your research is complete, or else unethical practices will lead to misconduct. So, what do you mean by integrity? Research integrity broadly refers to the honest, thoughtful, and honest adherence to relevant ethical, disciplinary, and financial standard in promoting design, conduct, evaluation, and sharing of research. Yeah, you should provide all the information. Yes, I have obtained permission from them. I am using the questionnaire of another study, so I got permission from this author. Like that, you have to, that all the information you have to disclose. That is the integrity. And this funding agency helped me in provide funding for my research. You have to disclose all the details. That is the research integrity. So these are the concept common ethics in research. You have to be honest, objective, integrity, carefulness, openness, reliability, fairness, respect for IP, intellectual property, confidentiality, confidential. Some in questionnaire confidentiality, in some questionnaire people won't write their names. They are not willing. Even if they write their names, you should not say that. You should ensure to maintain that their pay names are not revealed in your research. Only the male and female. So 50% of male told that, not this person told that. You have to maintain the confidentiality and legality, animal care, human subject protection. So these are the basic ethics in research. So we will see some of the common ethics. See, honesty. Strive for honesty in all scientific communication. You should report your data honestly. You have sent 500 questionnaire, but you got only 100. You cannot fill randomly another 400. That is wrong. You have to tell, I the total questionnaire I sent is 500. I received only 100. So the response rate is very poor, only 10%. That is okay. You can report it. And you can identify the reason why the people are not responded. Again, you can write it. That will be a new research. So whatever you get it, you have to report it honestly and objectivity. On data analysis, interpretation, peer review, personal decision, grant writing, everything should be objectivity. You have to minimize bias. Bias means uh, you should not, what do you say, because of this I got this. You should not brag about yourself. You should not be biased to anyone. There should be no conflict of interest. If I am peer review, if I am a journal and you are my, if I am a journal reviewer and you are my student, if you are writing a research paper to the journal which I am reviewing, I cannot be biased over you because my student is writing a paper. I cannot accept it directly. There should be no bias in anything. If the research is good, I have to accept it. If it is not good, I have to reject it and tell this is the reason I am rejecting it. So there should be no bias. Integrity, as I told you, integrity is you should maintain all the, you should disclose all the information, all the details who have helped you. You should not, you should maintain the anonymity of the respondents. Carefulness, you have to be carefulness, careless errors and negligence. Carefully and critically examine your own work and the work of your peers. Okay, whatever they have said, you have to provide it carefully. You have to write it carefully. If the previous assessor has said another finding, you are writing it as your finding. That is wrong. Openness. You have to share the data, results, tools. Be open to criticism. Whenever you are sharing your research openly, then only you will get suggestions. You will get criticisms. So be open. IPR. So honor patents, copyrights. So when you are referring to other materials, make sure that you give proper credit to the author. Honor whoever have received the patent. Yes, I have taken a particular piece of information from this source. So I am citing his name. So you have to honor confidentiality, as I told you earlier, and responsible publication, responsible mentoring, help to educate, mentor, and advise students. If you have become a good researcher, you need to help others also. Respect for colleagues. All these are the basic. These are the basic ethics you should follow. Social responsibility, non-discrimination. There should be no discrimination. So we are seeing common discrimination, right? In every after the George Floyd incident, everyone is writing Black Lives Matter. That is a discrimination. That is a discrimination. So it should be, everyone should be treated all. So there should be no discrimination in your research. You should not refer anyone. You have to refer everyone in a respectful and in a honest way. Competence, maintain and improve your own professional competence and expertise. So in the first research, in the first research, when you're writing your first paper, you will have some mistakes. So after learning and after experience gaining competence, you will be improving a lot. So learning helps. Legality, know the obey and relevant laws. Yeah, there are certain laws. Once you have written your article and publish it, you are not the full owner of it. You are disclosing the copyright agreement to the journal owner. So again, if you want to cite it or reproduce it, you have to ask permission. Just because you have written your own paper means doesn't include that I am the owner. So follow the legal laws pertaining to research and animal care and human subject protection. As I told earlier, so you have to show proper respect for care of animals when using them. So this is not the case in our kind of research, but this is common research ethics. When you are conducting experiment on human subject, so for example, we are conducting a survey, but survey on the libraries and the management, whether organization is helping library. Some librarians will say no, they are not giving fund. You should not disclose the name of the librarian. You have to tell that they are not helping. You should not disclose. So you have to protect our human subjects. So with this, our what do you say? Our research introduction for research is completed.